So good morning, my lovelies. Starting on your mat wherever you're most comfortable, seated or lying down. And with any practice, whether you've been doing it for a long time or you've had some gaps in between your practice, always listen to Satya and Ahimsa, truth and non-violence, to your body. They're the first two of the yamas, and the yamas is the first out of the 8 limbs of yoga. It's the principles we can apply to the mat when we're on our mat, but also throughout our day and life. That's where yoga spreads across our day-to-day and lifetime, rather than it just being the hour on the mat that we have every now and then. Asteya is non-stealing, so that relates to not stealing energy now from later on. So not overdoing it so you deplete yourself later on. So just having a few moments, just ground your energies down. If you're seated, it's quite nice to root from your tailbone. If you're lying down, just visualize your roots coming from the feet. This is always a wonderful practice to do, whether you're on your mat or not. First thing in the morning, ground and root your energies. It's a lovely way of starting your day and also connecting back to your yogic principles throughout your day. Check through your chakras. We'll start at the crown and we'll bring the energy down. So just checking in with how you feel around the top of your head. And then your forehead. How have you slept? Is your mind really busy? Have you got a lot of things going on? Overthinking? Or are we a little bit kind of away with the fairies and up in the clouds? Sometimes we can be quite spacious there. Notice your throat, how the neck is moving, how you're speaking. Heart center, our love, emotions and unconditional love. Noticing solar plexus above your navel, sacral below the navel, both digestive. And then root at the base of our spine, all the way down to our feet, through our legs this connects. And just notice what you need from your practice today. Immediately you might notice if you want strength building, whether it's just relaxation, a bit of mindfulness. So just check in with yourself. What do you need from your day? So if you're seated, just slip off your meditation cushions. Join me lying down. We'll begin to stretch. And so just doing whatever you can and being aware of what you can't do. So when you're ready, inhaling and taking the right arm up and over. Sometimes it might only be to here that you can raise it, or you can bring the arm back behind you, resting on a bolster if it doesn't come all the way down to the mat. So we'll lift our toes, flex our foot, and just enjoy this first stretch. Lower the leg, reach the arm up, and just creating space in the waist. And then just point your toes, lovely stretch over the leg, stomach channel. And then when you're ready, exhale, arm down. Maybe feeling a little bit longer one side than the other. And then same with the other side. So left side, inhale, arm over. Foot flexed. Lovely push down into the heel and a reach up to the hands. Spread the fingers. Lovely stretch through the palm. We have chakras in our palms and the soles of our feet and all around the body. There's 7 main chakras through the spine. Exhale, arm down. But there's said to be many, many other minor chakras within and externally of the body. Take a breath and then we'll take both arms over. And as we do this, just ever so gently tilt the chin in naturally and then really enjoy a full body stretch here, flexing feet, then pointing toes. And just reaching the arms up, feeling the shoulder blades pull away from our spine. And then when you're ready, exhale, arms down. Feeling a bit spacious just from those 3 moves. We'll draw the right knee in now. Hands around the shin, deep breath. And exhaling up. And this lovely stretch we get through the spine, the back of our body. Hold the breath out. And then when you're ready, inhale down. Swapping sides. How do you feel in this today? Sometimes you'll feel like you can really squeeze up, and other days not so much. So inhale, exhale up. And then inhale down. And both knees in. We'll do the same again. In your own time, deep breath in. Exhale up, squeeze all the air out. Belly falls to spine. Holding. And then inhaling when you're ready. Hold on to your knees and gently rock. And depending on if you're on carpet or hard floor, this will feel different. But just roll in circles. Feel the outer edges of your back. Just explore how you're feeling here. And then we'll come to stillness. We'll come up to seated for Paramuktasana 1 today. This little sequence that we know so well, I think is just the most easy, natural, basic movements of all of our joints. And we can really get to explore how we're feeling in the moment with them. So, Chin Mudra. Nice length to your spine. As you come to a seated position, notice if you're naturally slumped. Sometimes our energetic body is just going to do that to us. So just have a lovely lift, relax the shoulders. We'll let the eyelids drop down. And then we're ready, we'll take the chin down to chest. How does it feel? What you normally feel, if there's any twinges or sensation that stretches down the back, is it there today? Take the chin up nice and slowly. Feel all the movements. And a nice stretch through the front of the throat, compression in the back. Take the chin down again nice and slowly. And again, just how do you feel today? Anything improved? Once more up. Coming back to centre. We'll tilt the head to the right and left. And just this simple movement, it's not just the neck that we feel here. Same again each side. It's that how it radiates down the side of the shoulder, sometimes through the back. Coming back to centre. And then just a gentle twist over the right shoulder. Noticing what flexibility we have today. And left. And then just once more each side. Notice your breath. Has it become quite shallow, or are you deep belly breathing? It's always interesting to come back to the breath. Return to centre and then just take the chin down. Full rotation each way. Nice slow movement. Notice if your head feels like it gets stuck. And then the other way. Coming back to centre. Blinking your eyes open, we'll take the arms out in front of us. Thumbs in, thumbs out. And then wrists, palms up, palms down. And then rotating. Have you got one clicky hand? Other way. Lovely, palms up, deep breath in. Exhale. And just isolate your awareness to your elbows. And then elbows together and we'll rotate round, just loosening up whatever tension we're holding in the shoulders. Do your shoulders feel the same, or is one slightly different? Other way. And release. If you're on cushions, just push them aside, stretch your legs out. Just walk out the pads of your buttocks so you sit bones connect. And then just toes, opening and closing toes. And then pointing, flex. Sometimes you can hear a little crunchiness in the ankles. And then one foot over the other, we'll just rotate. And the other way. Swapping sides. And the other way. Coming into right knee. How does it feel? And then hip. And just sort of holding on to the memory of how these two joints feel, and then we'll compare them with the other side. Other way. So left side, left knee. Sometimes it's not even the knee you'll feel here. You'll feel it in sort of the hip flexors, depending whatever else you've been doing in the week. And then left hip, just a few times in each direction, just becoming aware of how it feels. Other way. Lovely. Bringing feet together for a butterfly pose. And just taking a few moments here just to let the legs just organically fall to the side. Feel that stretch in the hips. If you lean forward, you'll just notice it in the lower back a little too. Take some deep breaths. Try and let yourself soften into it, even if your back rounds a little, your shoulders soften. Maybe a long sigh. Okay. And then lifting up. So we'll come onto all fours now, just for a cat-cow stretch too. So just joining me in tabletop. I do notice sometimes people with issues with the wrists, they can't do this. If you ever need to, you could come onto your knuckles if that feels better through the arm. So there are little variations we can do with these poses. So neutral spine. Tune into your breath, and then when you exhale, stretching up into cat pose. And inhaling into cow. This might be the first flex of your spine properly this morning, so just take it gently, really kind of ease into, especially the cow pose with lumbar spine. Take a moment to pause here. You don't have to move through. You can just let yourself rest in one of the poses if you need to. And then carry on. If you want to, also when you come into cat, when you come into that arch up, you can pull yourself back, buttocks back to heels, and feel a little bit more of a stretch through your spine. And then coming up into cow. It's nice to try some variations sometimes, just to see how your body responds. And then when you're ready, just coming back into neutral spine. So we'll take ourselves back into Hatha for a moment, stretching the arms out, just rest them down. They don't have to be rigid. Just let them relax. Just feel that stretch through the back of the body. You can sway a little bit into the hips if that feels good. And then we'll lift our head up slowly. So walk the hands back to the body, knees together, turn the feet under, toes turning under, just stretch through the plantar of your feet. Very activating through quite a lot of the meridians, start in the feet and the toes. So that's nice. Okay, let's bring ourselves to standing. We'll come into tree pose, test our balance, and then come into an earth sequence as well. So, towards the end of the week, how has your week been? How balanced do you feel in life at the moment? Let's open up into Tadasana, mountain pose. Just standing here, when you first come into this pose, are we all slouched? Or do we have that sort of natural lift to our body? So weight into right leg, left leg comes up. If you're feeling unsteady at any time, you might be very used to having the foot right up at the top of the leg, but any time that you need to, you can just get steady by heel to ankle, toes on the mat. Then you can play with the idea of bringing the foot up to whichever height you're comfortable with. And I often say to people, you know, if you need to stand right up against a wall or hold on to something just with your fingertips, you can do. So we're in the pose. Just check in with the breath. Gazing at drishti. Let's take the arms up. If you're comfortable leaving the hands where they are, that's fine. Otherwise, we can bring arms up. Extend out into a lovely tree. And arms together. And then back down to heart center. Lovely, and release. Give your legs a shake. Notice where you feel that, if it's all through the right leg, whether it's anywhere through the left leg, buttock. Okay, left side. It's nice to really lift your foot, plant each toe down and have that sort of connection to rooting down again. And then wherever you're comfortable, you can heel to ankle if you want to, toe on the mat, foot come up. Wherever you feel just steady today. Gaze at drishti. Breath deep to the belly. Don't worry if you have to do a lot of adjusting through your foot. That's fine. Let's take the arms up. Inhale. Exhale. And together. And down. Lovely. And release. Give your legs a shake. Just wanted to hold that sort of slightly longer than maybe we normally do. Yeah. Give them a kick out your legs. Okay, we'll do a sequence, but just before we do that, just a few forward folds. Let's stretch through the back first. So feet just sort of hip distance or slightly more than hip distance apart. And we'll inhale and swan dive. Check out how it feels as you come into this fold, where you need to engage in your core, support your back, bend your knees even. We'll come into like a ragdoll to start with. So it's nice to bend your knees here. Just let your hands rest on the mat. Check in with that lower lumbar spine, how you feel through your hamstrings and the backs of the thighs. You can just shake the head, nod yes, shake the head no. Release through the neck and arms. And then when you're ready, inhale, roll up. Gently engaging into belly as we come up. Okay. It's always nice to do that just to prepare your body for any kind of movement. So earth sequence, joining me on the left hand side of your mat. We'll make a diamond shape. And let's use this as a meditative practice as well as movement. So breathing in and exhale. You can bring Ujjayi breath into this practice if you want to. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Finding the ends of your breath. Enjoying the stretch out of your arms. As the arms come wide, as if you're reaching out through those fingers. One more time. And as the arms come up, right foot. Notice if you're active or quite passive in this practice. Breathing in and coming into squat. Don't come down all the way if your back is too tender. Stretching out those arms. Take this at your own speed. We're all going to be at different times. And how do you feel through each part of these movements? When you're ready, turning to your right, leaning into that back leg, and then just transferring your weight. How does it feel through your ankles? The stretch you feel in your calf muscles. The movement of your knee, does it feel comfortable? And then after 3, other side. As you move your weight backwards and forwards, do you feel grounded and steady? And how do you feel about yourself as you move gently through this sequence? Is there a calmness? Turning to the front when you're ready. And using this part of the practice just to release, forward fold. Take a moment down here. If you want to take a breath in between. And then when you're finished, right foot to left. And gently hands to heart. Lovely sequence. How do you feel today? Every time will feel different. Is there a slight warmth to your skin? How does it feel? Is there a gentle perspiration? Just noticing. Heart rate, breath. Okay. Just take a moment on the mat. I know that was very gentle, but just lie down for a second. Absorb the feelings. Gentle practice today. Yoga isn't always about being very fast and dynamic and rushing through poses. Your practice can be so different days. Sometimes it can be slower and more meditative, more mindful, more awareness perhaps on your breath, the grounding aspect of our poses. So take a body scan here. Just scan through the head, the face, neck and shoulders, down each arm, front of your body, back of your body, the sides of your waist. Just check in with whether you're tight in the buttocks, relaxing down both legs to feet, noticing the gentle breath. So let's bring these in, have a little rock first. Always a nice little reset movement before we come into something else. Let's draw the soles of the feet up to the ceiling for Happy Baby. A lovely one for your hips, sacral energy of your body, so lower back, lower belly, lower digestive system, relationships, hips and emotions. Just rock side to side gently if that's comfortable for you. And notice how that feels emotionally, whether it's a nurturing feeling. So just gently draw knees in, just release through the legs. Give yourself a little wiggle if you need to, wag your tail. And then we'll come up to standing for Trikonasana and some warriors. So last week we did quite a few sequences. Sometimes it's quite nice just to sort of isolate a few movements, get the side stretch into the body. So we'll do our Trikonasana warrior into warriors. Feet about a leg length apart, outside edges of feet nice and parallel, and just creating that lift through the body. Even here, still imagine the roots through the soles of the feet and grounding. Lifting arms up, this brings energy through our body. We'll rotate the arms to activate the biceps, wrists back round, and then hands to hips. Turn in the left foot, turn out the right, and then just swinging hips back round. Even that movement will just make your body turn a little bit. So just coming back into alignment with your body, and then extending right arm, coming down into Trikonasana. Take it slowly. Sometimes, if you haven't done this one for a while, it can feel quite awkward. Lifting up that left arm, but really opening up through the shoulder. If you can't bring the arm up, so if the other side is awkward, you can just rest that hand on the hip still. Notice how this feels. Breathing to belly. Notice if you're collapsing the chest down, really opening up. And then we'll lift up, take a little bend into that knee if you need to as you push up. We're going to come over to the other side. So just comparing Trikonasana to the left. So rotate your feet the opposite direction. And then we can just gently come down. This side always feels more clunky for me coming down. You might also notice that in yourself. One side just doesn't feel as easy to get into the pose and takes a little bit of work maybe to open up the shoulder. Again, if you need to, just rest the hand on the hip, even by the side, whatever feels right for you. So breathing to belly, try not to hold the breath in the chest. And then gently coming up, bend into that knee if you need to, just to push your body upwards. From here, warrior two, create a little bit more space between your feet so that we can come into this lunge. Knee over the ankle, just so that we're not putting pressure onto that knee joint. Back leg lovely and engaged. Notice if the knee wants to just get weak and wobble and just get strong through the legs. Be aware of the weight through your feet. Distribution between heel and the ball of the foot. Gazing at drishti, middle finger of that front hand. Seeing if you can sink lower. Get stronger in this pose. So Parsvakonasana, side lunge. This is a lovely pose for the side of your body where the gallbladder meridian runs. Coming up, warrior two. Just rotate that right hip forwards and we'll just step into warrior one. Take a few breaths here. And then warrior two again. Opening up through the body. Forward facing feet. Clasp your elbows. Deep breath in. Nice restful front forward fold. Exhale on the way down. Bend your knees if you need to as you come down, especially if your lower back is a bit tender or tight today. And then you can hold on to your elbows. Sometimes feels nice just to sort of stretch through the upper back. Then we can relax the arms down. We'll walk forwards, come into a sort of a downward dog, but with the legs very wide. Just take a moment here. If there's too much pressure on the arms, don't worry, just come back and roll up.
Take some deep breaths. How does it feel through the backs of your legs, especially your hamstrings? So walk the fingers back. And then if you can, rolling up, keep the legs wide. And we'll come into the warriors on the other side. So warrior 2. With your right arm in front, so we're facing towards our right now. Again, just awareness on the placement and the weight distribution in your feet. Relaxed shoulders. Parsvakonasana. Really lovely long stretch here. Really try and be active all the way from the back foot through the leg up to the fingertips of your left hand. Gazing up. Coming back. Warrior 2. Encouraging your left hip forwards as we draw the left arm forwards to warrior 1. Such a different sensation through the body. Opening back up into warrior 2. And again, forward facing feet. Repeating as we did before. Take the arms up, deep breath in. And forward fold. Bend the knees again if you need to. Dropping the hands to the mat, and then this time we're just going to turn our fingers towards the back and then walk the hands through behind our legs gently, only to the point where you feel like you might topple, so keep your balance. And then return the hands back to centre. We'll walk the feet in, heel toe, heel toe. And gently roll up, stacking the vertebrae one at a time. And rolling shoulders. Okay, take a moment on the mat, find Shavasana. So just let yourself relax a moment. How long does it take for your back to soften to the mat? Keep letting go. It might take quite a few breaths to really try and relax, especially that lower spine. Let your legs relax. Is there a little bit more through the leg you can just soften? Deep breath. And then when you're ready, draw the knees in. Right one first, then left one. We always do it that way because it follows the colon, the ascending colon first. Just in case you ever wonder why we always say these things. Most of the time in yoga, we predominantly lead with the right. Have a little rock round. Okay, come into bridge. So feet to buttocks, semi-supine. And then placing hands down at the side of our body. Okay, we're just going to come up and down in a nice flow with awareness on each vertebrae through our spine. So gently engaging through lower abdominals, pulling in on the pelvic diaphragm. When you're ready, push. Inhale, come up into a nice, just a gentle bridge just to start with. Just see how you feel the stretch through your quad muscles, how it feels through the lower spine. Sometimes you'll come up really high in this pose, other times you'll feel not so strong. And then when you're ready, exhale, just roll down, consciously planting each vertebrae down. Relax out through that lumbar. And just take a breath. Okay. When you're ready, we can come up again. Breathe in. You might feel like you can come up more. If you want to draw the shoulders towards the spine, the shoulder blades towards the spine more, you can. Otherwise, just be happy where you are. Exhale, roll down. Still feeling engaged in the buttocks and the thighs until everything relaxes out. And then just keep going. So breathing in. Notice the stretch around your knees, if that's comfortable, the stretch on the tops of the thighs, how engaged and tight you are in the buttocks, holding this position. Coming up again. Nice little squeeze. When you're up into the bridge pose, notice if your knees want to sort of go out to the sides, trying to keep the legs lovely and parallel. Rolling down when you're ready on the exhale. And we'll just do one more. Feeling that lovely warmth and the very start of a gentle burn, perhaps, in the muscles, the glutes. Rolling down. And then extending your legs out. You don't have to be very dramatic in that pose to actually feel that. And there's a lovely buzz now, perhaps you can feel around your legs. Taking a few deep breaths. Noticing through all the different poses, especially in a yin practice, we hold the poses a long time and we have a long rest in between to really feel the energy. And you still do get the opportunity in Hatha just to feel where the coolness, the warmth, the tingling is. That's your chi, your prana, sort of gently shifting through your body, through the channels. So bringing these in. Let's have a nice little rock. Okay. Some of you will have bolsters. We don't often use bolsters in Hatha, but some of you may have, or you may have a couple of cushions. I'd like to do a pose that we call twisted deer. So if you haven't got a bolster, grab just a couple of sofa cushions or something like that. We won't hold it for long, but I'd like to introduce this to you. So with twisted deer, we're going to, it's a seated position. We're going to bring the right shin in front of us and the left leg just swings sort of to the side. As if you were cross-legged, and then you just rotate your left hip and take leg to the side. This bolster comes in towards your right hip, so it's sort of in line with you. If you were to stick your arm out, then it rests there. And so it's a very gentle pose. It's really lovely. What we do is we then turn the body and come down and rest. So if you haven't got the bolster, this is where a stack of cushions or a pillow is quite nice. And it's a very gentle twist. If you haven't got a bolster, you can still do it on the floor, but what I'd do is I'd probably come onto elbows so that it's not as an intense twist. So those of you that haven't got a bolster, it would be a nice thing for Father Christmas to bring you because there's a lot of things we can do with this. So it's a lovely supported twist, this pose. If you're a bit uncomfortable on your buttock or your hip, just put a cushion or a folded blanket there. That can always help. So just take some deep breaths. If you want to take your left leg a little bit further behind you, just sort of rotate it round a bit more. Enjoy the deep breaths here. Noticing how the breath moves, how it opens up more so into left side of the body, left ribs. Try and relax your buttocks and your waist. Twisted deer, this one is called in yin. Try and relax your head and your neck. And we'll take one more breath. We'll come up slowly.
if you're using a bolster or whatever you're using, keep it handy. Just swing it to the other side. What I'd like you to do is just come down onto your mat into Shavasana for a few breaths, because although that felt like a very gentle pose, and maybe you're not feeling anything whilst you're in it, just take a few moments to absorb the sensations of what you feel on the right side and the left side of your body. And you can feel the effects of a very gentle twist, certainly in lower back perhaps, and the mid part of the body, solar plexus area. Relax your buttocks, try and relax your spine, muscles in your back. Okay, draw the knees in, right one, left one. Only takes a few moments just to observe. If you went straight into the other side, you'd miss that little sensation of what you're gaining from the pose. So again, if you come up to seated, for those of you that aren't familiar with this, as if you're crossing your legs, we're just going to swing that right one outwards to the side. Your left shin will be in front of you and right leg out to the side. Bolster comes in towards your left hip. So if you extended your left arm out, it's in line. And then when you're ready, just turn your body and rest downwards. Try to relax the sides of your waist, your buttocks if they're tight. Soften through the belly. If it feels too easy, just take your right leg a little bit further behind you. You can feel the stretch in the top of the leg. Try and relax your shoulders and your head and neck. And then when you're ready, let's just take maybe one long deep breath here. Lifting up. And again, just take a moment or two to lie down to absorb the after effects of that side of the twist. A moment of reflection. Does it feel spacious in certain parts of your body? Does it feel a bit more freed up? But in a gentle way, a little bit different from perhaps a seated spinal twist, which can be quite a deep position to come into. Just take some breaths, follow the chi movements, the prana, the sensations in your body. And then we'll bring these in. Okay, so I'm going to offer you two positions now, a lovely relaxing restful one. Most of you will have a cushion, and we're going to either lie back over the cushion, which is what we call bench, and this is where we take the cushion just a few inches away from the body so that we come into thoracic opening rather than lumbar, and you can lie down. So there's this option, and if you need to support your head, use a block or a rolled pillow. However, if some of you have got bolsters, and really this only works if you have got a bolster and perhaps your moon cushion. This is something I do with my Monday class at Mayura. We make a little wedge. We put the moon cushion there just to lift and the bolster. So this is another reason why if you did get a bolster, it's nice to come into. We sit on the end of it, right on the end, so that sort of your coccyx is on the end. We lie back so the head, the neck is supported by the end of the bolster.
And this is lovely because you can just let your arms fall out to the side. It's a little bit like heart bench in yin with the blocks, but a little bit more supportive. It just opens up. So this is a lovely other reason to use a bolster, and it just stretches out the whole top of your body. You can have your legs long. I don't like that. I prefer the knees bent. It just supports the lower back a bit more. So there is that one too. So depending on what props you have, choose what you'd like. I think most of you, if you don't have the bolster, will have the cushion. So I'll join you in bench. Either one is a very lovely, relaxing pose which opens up the top of the body, opens up a little bit through the neck and throat. Actually, in some ways, the lying over the cushion is probably more relaxing. With just this little lift that you get away from the floor, even though it's an inch or two, it's very relaxing for the back afterwards. So just enjoy following your breath for a little while. Follow the inhale, nice deep belly breath. The exhale fully. The breath is the one beautiful thing that will always bring you back to the present moment. It's like a lovely anchor. So very gently, just take a breath, lift up from whichever pose you've chosen. Just move your props away, come back down onto the mat into Shavasana. I just want your spine to feel what it's like in neutral after the lovely stretch into the upper back. And hopefully it feels really kind of refreshing and relieved. So often we're hunched forward, the shoulders curl forward, those muscles in the front of our body are contracted and the back is always stretched. So to take us into the opposite direction just for a little while is relieving. So coming into relaxation now, bring the knees into the chest, choosing whether you want to stay lying down or whether you'd like to sit up in more of a meditative position. Choose where you would like to be. And you've got about 10 minutes just to be. So as you relax in whichever position you've chosen, I'd like to take you back to perhaps a remembered or an imagined, like childhood woodland experience. So it's autumn. Maybe you can remember these from sort of a school trip where you are, or a family sort of outing to, even if it's a small collection of trees somewhere in a park. The leaves are just turning that golden, yellowy, reddish. Some of them have gone a little bit crispy, but a lot of the green is leaving the tree. And the multitude of colours that you see is just beautiful, this golden season ahead of us. I'd like you to imagine that it was a day like yesterday where it was
just that lovely sunlight that if you just stood in the sunbeams through the gaps of the trees, it would warm your face. I'd like you to imagine that you just close your eyes as you stand there and you just feel the warmth. The backs of your eyelids turn a deep red. And it's just impossible to not bring a little smile to your face. There's an autumn smell in the air. Perhaps you notice on the ground that there are conkers. Perhaps they've opened up and you see those lovely polished brown little balls. What else do you see on the floor? What the trees have dropped. And if you ever remember doing bark rubbings, you have some paper and some pencils with you. Imagine going up to the different trees, big ones, small ones, trees with deep grooves in the bark or shallow, and just do some tree rubbings or some leaf rubbings, and just enjoy being creative and playing with nature. If you feel you want to, in this little imaginary walk, go and hug the trees that you're drawn to. Press your cheek up to the rough bark. See how far your arms reach round, if it's a small tree or a big, big tree, big oak tree. Don't feel embarrassed, there's no one watching. Just go and hug different trees and notice how you feel. What feedback, what messages do you get from these living entities? These grand entities that have seen many more years than when we have. Enjoy the exchange of oxygen, carbon dioxide. We mutually benefit each other. And then if the feeling is drawn to you, sit down beneath a very big oak tree. Lean up against its strong trunk. And just enjoy. Be with the energy. Gently. No need to move, just draw the mind back. What or how much of a scene did you create in your mind? Did you expand the scene with birds and squirrels? Just take a few moments to connect back with your breath, just following the inhale and exhale. And then gently you can just start to wiggle fingers and toes. Take a few more deep breaths and then maybe a long sigh. Feeling good, better than before. Just start to maybe stretch, full body stretch. Flexing, pointing the feet. And then if you want to, you can draw the knees in for a nice, lovely stretch through the spine. Bringing the head up if that feels good. And just saying something very positive towards yourself. What do you feel lucky for today or grateful for? Just what came into your mind? What's the first thing that came to your mind? When we feel grateful, we are in a very high vibration that negativity can't penetrate. So coming to our attitude, gratitude is always a welcome thing. So when you're ready, just rolling up to seated, we'll chant our 3 Oms together, which is lovely and activating for our throat, third eye and crown. It's lovely when you have done a practice that targets all of your chakras. So just joining me, bringing your hands to Chin Mudra. Notice how your Om sounds today, whether it is wobbly or a strong Om or it fades off. Just be curious. So taking a deep breath in. Bringing awareness to your crown. And then hands together, rub them. Feel that lovely warmth there that's already perhaps, and then make it a little bit warmer. Nice hot hands over your eyes. Blinking, let that heat come through your hands into the eyeballs. And then parting the fingers, letting the hands drop to the heart center. Om Shanti. Namaste.